Welcome back, everyone. Another episode of Coffee with the Commish. Coming off a 3-1 day yesterday in the World Baseball Classic. We cashed on the Netherlands money line at plus 150. We cashed the Nerfy, even though it got a little bit sweaty. Cashed the under 4.5 first five in the first game. And then we bet on Taiwan in the second game. They didn't do us any favors, but 3-1 day overall. Not going to complain at all. This is my first time betting on the World Baseball Classic. I'm here just sharing some information, sharing my plays. Everyone is free to tail, free to fade, free to take the information and do what you will with it. Main reason I'm doing this, one, I think the information is a little bit hard to access for the average person. It's taken me a ton of time to go and collect this information and try to make sense of it. And two, I just think it makes it a lot more fun to watch these games, to have an idea of who these players are and to realize that all of these countries have incredibly talented players, not just the U.S., not just the guys who are major league talent. There's really quality players, pitchers and hitters all across the globe. So I'll get right into it. This game, you can't really just bet it straight on the money line. South Korea, you can see on the ticker below, minus 660 on the money line, makes that immediately unplayable. There's nothing fun about that. There's nothing profitable about that in the long term. But I'll share my screen. I'll give you some information on the both teams, and then I think there's some creative ways that we can attack in this one. Australia, 12 games all time in this tournament. They're 2-10, pretty uninspiring, but the last tournament in 2017, they did end up finishing in ninth, so a little bit better than they had been in the past, as you can see. Main thing with Australia is they just don't have a lot of high-end talent. We can go through and we can look at the pitching staff, and there's a lot of guys that allow a lot of traffic here. Very few guys that have really good swing and miss stuff. The Australian Baseball League and the minor leagues is where they're pulling a lot of their talent from here. Same thing if we go look at the catchers, the infielders, and the outfielders. Australian Baseball League or the minor leagues of major league teams, they're in their farm systems. Jared Dale is the one guy who got the closest to the major leagues out of the guys who are in the minor leagues. 134 games played last year. You can see he's got some good contact skills, relatively speaking. Gets on base at a decent clip, 269 batting average. Can steal some bases, 27 swipes last season. OPS really uninspiring. Still swings and misses, ends up punching out a decent amount. The one thing that you'll notice with this Australian lineup, they do have a pretty patient approach. You can see a number of guys here that have walk rates in the double digits, which is rare. It shows that you have a patient approach at the plate. But the big thing for them is there's a lot of guys that have sub 200 batting averages. Very few guys that have some pop in this lineup. That's why they're huge underdogs here. We'll go look at South Korea in this spot. Everyone on this team is incredibly talented. The KBO, for one, is an incredibly talented pool of players. They get a lot of respect from major league individuals as well. But we can go through and we can see there's nobody on this roster that had an ERA that was even at 4 last season. All of these guys do a good job limiting traffic on the bases. Similar to other pitchers in the KBO, very few guys have really high K percentages, but a lot of them have pretty good command. This is going to be particularly important against an Australian team that has a little bit of patience at the plate. If there is one strength that Australia has, it probably is their ability to work deep into the count. The fact that the pitchers that South Korea has don't mess around. They throw the ball in the strike zone. They're going to challenge Australia, I think bodes well for them in this spot. We go look at the offensive talent here. All guys that have very, very high contact rates, guys that have sub 20K percentages, some even sub 10%. The one guy you can see here with the 26.9K percent, what did he do? He hit 35 home runs last season, and he has some major league experience under his belt as well. Very, very talented team. Some major league guys you might recognize. Tommy Edman of the St. Louis Cardinals played 153 games last year. Elite speed, very good base runner, good defender. And then Ha-Seong Kim also played 150 games last year for the Padres. Solid bat, decent glove, high contact type of player. But Edman and Kim might not even be the best hitters on this team. There's a lot of talent here. We'll go look at the starting pitching matchup today. Australia is starting this guy, Jack O'Loughlin, A-ball pitcher in the Detroit farm system. Not very talented, at least not from what the data says. Again, I don't watch single A baseball, so I don't have a firsthand perspective on this, but 4.01 ERA, 136 whip, those are not good run prevention metrics. Not really great swing and miss stuff, especially for being the lower level of the minor leagues. Struggles with his command. So again, against a South Korea lineup that has good contact skills, that's going to work the count a little bit just by virtue of having so much talent. Not a good spot to start the game if you're Jack O'Loughlin. If we go over and we look at who South Korea is starting in this game, again, I apologize if I mispronounce the name, but young Pyo Ko, 182 innings last year, 326 ERA, 117 whip. Not the best swing and miss stuff in the world, but he really does attack the strike zone. 3% walk rate is truly elite. I expect him to come in right away, challenge these Australian hitters that don't have a lot of pop in their bat, at least looking at their metrics. For that reason, I think South Korea is as close to a slam dunk as you can get in this spot. I'm not going out on a limb here by saying that they're minus 660 on the money line. So it is what it is. I will show you VIP what I'm going with in this spot. We do have South Korea minus the 2.5, minus the 3.5, minus 4.5, and minus the 5.5. I do think if you're betting South Korea in this spot, you might as well go big. They have the offense. We saw even Panama yesterday, who I didn't expect them to score hardly any runs, but they credit to them. They took advantage of a lot of mistakes over the middle of the plate, and they did some damage. I think a really good hitting team like South Korea that's going to put the ball in play on a consistent basis. And if we go back and we look at their speed as well, I mean, there's numerous guys here, 12 steals, 32, 12, 20, 31, 24. They're going to be able to put some pressure on the base pass as well. There is a mercy rule in the World Baseball Classic for people who are unaware, so there is a little bit of an advantage too if you can get up 10 and get out. The venue, we'll look at the venue tonight, and I'll give out the free play that I gave to Roto Grinders. Tokyo Dome, it's a high scoring place to be. Well, I can go back and I'll show you just some of the stats I pulled. 30 games to the Tokyo Dome in the history of the World Baseball Classic. It's the most frequented venue of anyone in the World Baseball Classic. 20 of those 30 games, at least 8 runs scored, average of 10.6 runs per game in those 30 contests. 10 of the 18 pool play games at the Tokyo game since 2006 have hit at least 8 runs. For that reason, I lean that way tonight. I think South Korea is going to have to do the majority of the heavy lifting here to get to the over 8. So for that reason, you might want to target their over 5.5 on their team total, or again, go look at the alternate run lines in this spot. But overall, it's great to have baseball back. I think this might not be the most entertaining game, but it's always cool to see players from across the world competing against each other in the same uniform, even though they're in the KBO and MLB. So officially, like what I'm on tonight, I'm laddering South Korea up to minus 5.5, and I'm on the over 8 just a little bit here as well. Appreciate you watching. If you find the content valuable, please like, share, subscribe. I know we got a little bit less than 2 hours till first pitch. I'll try to do a better job of getting these out a little bit earlier in the day, but I had a busy day with some NBA content as well. But really appreciate all the support. Almost to 200 subscribers, views, traffic, all that's really great. So just want to say appreciate each and every one of you, and best of luck. If you're talent and if you're taking a different approach, just let us know in the comments. No hard feelings, even if you're directly opposed to me. All right, good luck, everyone.